Hey everyone, so nice to be here. I'm Surbhi Rathore, the CEO and co-founder of Symbl.ai. Symbl is a conversation understanding platform that helps businesses truly maximize the communication data in their products and businesses. Today, on that same note, we are going to talk about how to leverage conversation data that is flowing around in audio, video content in your business or product, and how to really stitch it with the rest of the audio data stream that you're currently operating in the business. I'm sure you all are running some sort of automation initiatives or data analytics initiative. And this is specifically for you, because if you have communication data which is not being converted from that unstructured way in which they are stored today into really all the insights and metadata that can be extracted, so much correlation from what people are talking to what activity you are seeing in products can be stitched together. And that's really where we are going to spend our majority of time today. Like I said, the unstructured audio data is going to be the focus of our conversation. Some of you might be already converting that audio into transcription, but that's not enough. There is so much more context and understanding that is hidden behind just words and keywords in this entire audio content that we're missing out today. And all the knowledge that can be extracted from that audio data and when the correlation happens with the rest of your business. So integrating audio in your data stream can happen from several of the channels. If you're already setting up some sort of an ETL pipeline or a BI dashboard or using some sort of an application that leverages all this communication to show the experience that you're building, or running your own research or analytics group when in your business that is looking into what people are talking and how we can better coach our agents or get ahead of our customers or understand where churn is. You can leverage not just the activity data that you might be looking at today and text data that exists in form of chats and emails and communication on ServiceNow as a support ticketing system, or Drift as a chatbot or a virtual assistant interface, Salesforce in terms of all the email communication, or Slack in form of chat data. But today, our focus from this conversation standpoint is going to be primarily of the audio content. There is so much of audio content that you're generating today, given the times that we live in, on Zoom meetings, in sales conversations, in customer success calls, in customer support calls, on Teams, on Cisco WebEx, or any other kind of channel you're using. But also, if you're already using sales intelligence products like Gong, they also store a ton of recorded content and transcripts which go unused for other parts of your business. You can extract all that audio data out of these tools using simple webhooks or APIs, which all these tools make available to the customers, and enrich your existing data analytics or any of the automation initiatives that you're doing with the insights which are captured in this unstructured data. And this can be done in real time or using real-time events or alerts, or even implementing real-time tracking and monitoring, or doing it in form of a batch on an asynchronous processing that you might be already doing with some of the other activity data that happens in your tools. But to do all of that, you need an audio intelligence infrastructure, whether you build the underlying NLP, NLU, speech recognition yourself, or you leverage third-party APIs to do that. But you do need to set up what does your infrastructure looks like from an audio intelligence perspective. Can those is that infrastructure layer or the API layer reusable on some of the text conversation as well? How about the document data? How do you bring all these different APIs together that specialize in different forms of communication or content, and put them together, abstract that APIs away in a way that it is easily flexible, modularized, and you can easily rip and replace it when you need to be changing your vendors. So whether it is an all in-house approach or a vendor first approach, or like a combined hybrid sort of an approach, but you do need a strategy to build your own audio intelligence infrastructure and what that looks like. When you're building such an infrastructure to be able to extract the intelligence from the unstructured conversation and audio content that we looked at in the previous slide, you want to look for some specialized systems specifically for audio data, because sometimes the NLP and NLU systems that work very well on documents will not work on conversations. The dialogue understanding and the unpredictable human behavior that usually happens in audio content, in to and fro, in multi-party speaker conversations, is very chaotic and unstructured as compared to documents. So the same kind of understanding infrastructure might not apply here. So look for specialized systems for conversation specifically and built for voice. Look for advanced conversation analytics that helps you go beyond speech recognition. Because if you do convert audio into text, you still get a bunch of text data and a bunch of keyword mapping that you'll have to do. But how to truly go beyond it and look for context, look for extensibility, look for the ability to look for similarity of from a meaning standpoint and extract other features from audio, not just the text, but also the tonal aspects and the pitch aspects. And there are just other audio features in your data. Then the third part is look for what is the use case from your analytics and automation perspective, and would a batch processing work for you from processing asynchronously all this data, or do you truly need a streaming inference sort of a solution that lets you get access to all this intelligence in real time in like less than 100 milliseconds? Do you need to take action immediately or assist someone as the conversation is going on, or alert or make changes while the conversation is happening? How sensitive is it to impact the conversation or communication while it is happening to an event that can be analyzed and looked into later? Does that automation need to be in real time or after the fact? Based on this, you can make a decision on what is a priority for your business. But these three are some of the core aspects as you think about your own audio intelligence. In this presentation, we will take an example of using the audio data to evolve customer experience. I know all of you today are truly thinking about retention, how to really avoid any churn, how to get ahead of our customer requirements, how to personalize and attract any new customers and prospects, how to speak to the customers and adapt to what they want to be spoken with, not send cold emails, send what is really needed, and how to truly nurture the customers at their preferred communication channel. Our customers and prospects are talking today across messages, voicemails, videos, audio, IVR, even in the metaverse. But our customer experience strategy today does not accommodate so many different channels. And more importantly, it does not stitch of what people are talking across all these channels to build a unified understanding of that customer journey. And that's what you can do with your audio content, because that audio content is a big missing piece in evolving that customer experience for you at this time, because a lot of your customers are talking about audio channels, and all of that just gets stored in recordings or get lost in real time if it is not recorded. So to be able to support a continued evolution throughout the CX life cycle, you need to be consuming that data to inform the different stages of that life cycle. How does the awareness get impacted, or the acquisition, or how do we make sure that we can care about the customer based on what the preferences are or what the upsell or buying opportunities are? How do we retain the customers, knowing the information that we have now, and continue to evangelize with them? So across all these channels, you can very easily, using your audio data, implement a real-time monitoring across these channels. Make sure that you're always complying to whether it is moderating some specific aspects in the conversation or giving alerts when things go out of policy. Be able to act and assist in real time, because when you lose the customer attention, it's gone. And then also provide a very easy way to search through more metadata. Sometimes you don't even remember what to look for. So the ability to find similar words and similar phrases or similar instances in the conversation is really helpful. So to get started with most of the things that we talked about is a project that you need to set up in your organization. But like I said, to get started easily, we can start with APIs. All of these platforms provide you APIs to both push data into this as well as extract from it. There are several integration platforms as a service that you can use today, all the way from Workato, Trade.io, more open like Pipedream, and then figure out a way to just do simple integrations, get the audio data from where it is stored in, whether it is in your S3 bucket or Zoom recordings, or even as transcripts in Gong. Stitch that using any of the automation platforms or build a simple API integration yourself. And these are the three examples that we are looking at today, where you can push that data into Marketo as instance one, enrich your lead scoring, understand the several entities about the customers when they talk about it. They talk about their preferences, they talk about their phone numbers, their personal information, all of the stuff which is already being talked about. It can be, if it is not personal information or specific personal information, it can be enriched within the CRM data or the Marketo data itself. And all the intent to buy and upsell. And when someone asks a question on a webinar or engages with your content, all that information can flow in Marketo to build a very strong customer blueprint that is informed by what people are talking and engaging, and not just the information that you're asking them to input. So it's an automatic adaptation of lead scoring based on what your customers are talking and how they're talking at different communication channels. The next one is around Salesforce, and most of the organizations are heavy users of Salesforce, but they always struggle in reporting just because CRM data is never complete. So automatically update objections, competitive mentions, missed opportunities, things that truly matter for you when you look at your pipeline on a weekly basis. Do a review, sit for a strategy. You can look at all that data and make very informed decisions. And then also success metrics from a customer retention, churn, or NPS standpoint, or even measuring that whether the people from your organization that are talking at all these different channels, are they communicating with empathy? What is the behavior analytics at all of these aspects, such that it can also inform your internal and external training programs? So just doing a one step deeper into each of the capabilities and what you can look for today when you're thinking about building these experiences or these automations. Look for entity detection and as well as redaction if you're thinking from a compliance standpoint. You can look for either your own infrastructure APIs to redact, de-identify, or anonymize all the sensitive information so that you're always in compliance. Your customers trust you with their own personal data. It's look for a system that can easily recognize the data from spoken conversations, because most of the systems that are built today from an entity recognition standpoint, they're built to understand written documented entities. But when you speak a phone number, it gets transcribed in a very different way as opposed to what you write it. So look for systems like that. And that's why I mentioned to be able to specialize in conversation data and audio data. You can then use these entities to be able to replace with synthetic data from a compliance standpoint, but you can also use these entities in its true form on recorded calls to then go and update your Marketo and lead scoring like we talked about before. There are tons of PI, PCI, and PHI entities that are that could be relevant for your business, all the way from personal information to the things that must be redacted if you're from a call center standpoint, or health information, again, that is extremely sensitive. Sentiments, which are also very good low-hanging fruit for you to be able to implement directly from the audio data itself. There are sentiments that can be extracted on a polarity based at sentences, at the whole conversation level, at every topic of the conversation that is being talked about, as well as based on tone and emotion. There are several ways to extract these sentiments. You can extract sentiments again in streaming as well as asynchronously, depending upon what the use case is for. I have some of the use cases here that I captured that will help you guys think through, what you can build, like call tracking or agent assist, or understanding the quality of the call, analyzing the trend of how the call went, or even creating alerts or coaching moments within this, and using your data to inform some of those analytics within the platform. Or you can do it asynchronously as well. Sentiment can also be detected based on the meaning and intent of dialogues, because sometimes politeness, anger, empathy is a combination of the tone as well as the content and the intent behind the scenes. And also, depending upon the use case, you can look for a low latency sort of an inference for sentiment or completely asynchronously. Intent detection is another really important aspect that will cover all the use cases that we talked about in the beginning. So there are, you can find some predetermined intent topics, tones, insights, or any classifiers. They all contribute towards detecting intents. Now, most of these classifiers are traditional ways of building classifiers requires you to gather a lot of data. So to be able to modernize that infrastructure stack, look for techniques like zero-shot learning and inference that can help you do this faster and is more scalable as you go through building different types of intents within the business. That way you gather less data and use more conversation context to be able to extrapolate it semantically and find out all the different patterns in which people are speaking about the same thing. Also remember the intent detection in chat versus and talking to a virtual assistant is very different from the intent when people speak naturally in conversations. So your system, whatever you are having, should be also built for that. Leverage some vertical and pre-built intels and also build a system internally to be able to capture that data and information for you. Or if you're working with a third-party vendor, try to create this library of intents or use and leverage some vertical specific intents that could really accelerate the go-to-market for your own solution. And then just also, depending upon your use case, you might need multilingual support and intents in different languages, or just English could work. So take a look at that. So I know we're running short of time, but before we go, and there's so much more that you can do with audio data in your business, but this is a very high level bird's eye view for Symbl as a platform. We talked about some of the capabilities and some of the use cases, but Symbl is an API platform that lets you have kind of like a plug and play experience to be building their own voice AI infrastructure. If you're building something internally, you have your own data science team. You can also always augment using these APIs and make sure that you can really consolidate all the understanding together and have your teams work on more correlation and more business insights, and then leverage the understanding from the platform to be able to really accelerate your product building or solution or automation that you're building internally. We have APIs that can ingest and SDKs that can directly ingest WebSocket based audio stream. We support several protocols. We can also support SIP and PSTN based audio data as well, which is critical for telephony systems, and as well as asynchronous recordings. And we only talked about entities, sentiments, and intents, but from our platform standpoint, there is much more that you can do with conversation analytics and really advanced context aware analytics that goes all the way from detecting action items and questions that could be relevant to certain parts of the business, to going and looking at very detailed speaker engagement analytics, or looking at abstractive summarization that can be very helpful in automating note entries in CRM. And all this data is easily extractable using APIs in real time as well as asynchronously, depending upon your use case. The platform is built with an optional persistence layer, as well as enriching your own data and intelligence stack with most of the metadata, which is broken down from this unstructured audio data that we looked into. And obviously there's so much more, and I don't want to bore you all, but I will definitely leave you behind with the thought of going and exploring into the platform and seeing what all can you really do and unpack your audio data with. I truly, truly believe that we are at a verge from a business and just an ecosystem standpoint where we can truly unlock the audio data and use it and look at it like just another data stream in the business and truly capitalize on all that information that we are losing today. So please don't lose that information anymore. Record, store, analyze in real time, whatever you can do. But there is so much golden nuggets that can help your business today. So let's use what we have the most and build a strategy sooner than later. Thank you so much. It was lovely talking to everyone.